Oh, hey everybody. Since I decided to get back on my accordion here, I decided to play some songs on it. Sadly, the only song I can play is the Harry Potter theme song. That, and also I can do this. It's been so long since I ever played the accordion. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, welcome for another multi-voice reviewer. And today's episode is another Doctor Who-Athon. And I have to say, there was a lot of Doctor Who things going on out there. I mean, have you guys seen the death battle of Rick from Rick and Morty versus the Doctor? I knew he would win. Well, spoiler alert for those of you who haven't seen it, the Doctor wins. And, you know, there was another Doctor Who thing I think another channel should do. I mean, I'm not thinking about another death battle between Superman and Doctor Who, even though now their next death battle is Superman and Goku, and that's the third time they made this time. But I was thinking, what if there was not a death battle, but a rap battle between Superman and Doctor Who? Epic rap battle of history. I'm giving you a good one here. Come on. But of course, talk about Doctor Who. Today I'm going to be talking about the second Doctor that started back in 1966 all the way to 1969. Kinky. And today I'm going to talk about a Doctor. This time is since William Hartnell got regenerated, and the new Doctor is none other than Patrick Troughton. And one thing I gotta say, the way that Patrick Troughton portrays his performance of the Doctor, unlike William Hartnell, which I said that he acted like a grumpy, arrogant, just a grouchy old fart. Patrick Troughton, he was more of a caring grandfather type. Unlike William Hartnell, who always put his companions in danger and all that. Patrick Troughton, on the other hand, he was more caring and more thoughtful. And he had a lot of companions in his journey as well. Now, to start off this series, I remember that during that whole War Machine thing. Oh, wait, not War Machine, sorry. I got confused. Now, Patrick Troughton, he still has those two companions who was with William Hartnell at the time, until he regenerated to Patrick Troughton, and it's the usual Polly White, played by Anik Wills, and Ben Jackson, played by Michael Craze. And they sticked with him for a while, and I even saw a couple of animated episodes, like The Power of the Dalek. And then this is when Patrick Troughton starts getting some new companions. Because during the episode of the Faceless One, Ben and Polly decided to leave. And therefore meets a new girl who, now this one was from the animated episode of Power of the Dalek, where he meets a Scottish guy, a Scottish Highlander, who goes by the name of Jamie McCrimmon, played by Fraser Haynes. And also meets another character who is also the companion, who goes by the name of Victoria Waterfield, played by Dorothy Watling. Now, one thing I gotta say about Dorothy Watling, I mean, she seems to be a very lovely girl. I mean, I usually don't, spot beautiful actresses in the old 60s, but I have to say that, that the actress who plays Victoria, Dorothy, she's a very lovely lady. I mean, very cute. And of course, a lot of people always kept saying about William Hartnell's appearance looks a lot like Moe from the Three Stooges. Why, I oughta... See that? But of course, I also start noticing there was a bit of a connection between Jamie and Victoria. Like, Jamie seems to have a thing for her. What? I decided to celebrate Doctor Who by just drinking tea out of my Doctor Who mug. A little tired of the skull mug I used to drink. And then there was this one episode which it was lost, but it's also animated, called Fear of the Deep. And of course, this is the episode where they first introduce the very first sonic screwdriver. You see, William Hartnell never had a sonic screwdriver, but Patrick Troughton did. And he started using it just to unscrew devices, or even use it as a welder, welding through walls and such, until they start using it more throughout the rest of the episode. And after that whole adventure with the Fear of the Deep, that's when Victoria decided to leave behind, because she had enough about what was going on in most of the adventures with the Doctor and Jamie. And even though Jamie didn't want her to leave, but she made her choice. Too bad. I really did seem to like Victoria. And then they meet a new girl in this one episode called The Wheel of Space, where they introduce a futuristic, smart scientist kind of girl who goes by the name of Zoe Honoriot. I think I got her name right. Heriot. Played by Winnie Padbury. And one thing I gotta say about Winnie, who plays Zoe, she herself is very lovely too. Why is it that my eyes always keep finding cute girls, even girls from old shows? Jeez. But anyway, Jamie, being an old-fashioned Highlander from the old times, he really did like Victoria, but he also tries to get used to Zoe. But I guess Zoe kind of rubbed off on him it's kind of interesting that the Doctor meets a guy from the past and a girl from the future and becomes his companions. And they had a really interesting adventure, of course. And of course, in one of the episodes called the War Game... Oh no, not the War Game. But there was an episode where they also introduced the first character who sooner or later is going to be the Doctor's Commissioner Gordon to the Doctor's Batman, which is Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart, played by Nicholas Country. Now, he only appeared in one episode on the Troughton era, but I'm going to tell you more about him in the Pertwee era, which is going to be coming up next, on my next review. And here's another thing. They haven't introduced the Master yet, but they did introduce a character that was very similar to the Master, and of course he says that he himself is a Time Lord, but he's not the Master. He is something else, which this character is called the War Chief. And as it turns out, the War Chief and a group of other renegade Time Lords, they kept grabbing people from different time periods and keep having wars against one another throughout every single war history. And the war chief is the cause of all this. Until the Doctor pretty much put a stop to it. And here's one thing I forgot. One thing I did not notice, but in the later series, and I'm surprised, in the early series, and they never even used it in the later series, which I think they have, but where Time Lords have the ability to hypnotize people. They look into their eyes and they can hypnotize them, telling Earth people what to do. Which is pretty surprising for me. Earl Grey. I love Earl Grey. But of course, the only way that Patrick Troughton's Doctor can stop the war chief and some of the renegades, he decided to contact the Time Lords. Now, they didn't tackle much on the Time Lords in the first series, but this time they decided to tackle it in the later on, where they kind of explain about the Doctor and his people and such. And one thing they did say, the reason why the Doctor left Gallifrey is because all the Time Lords from his planet are a bunch of arrogant, snooty, uptight jackasses. And the Doctor was fed up the way they've been acting, so that's why he decided to steal the TARDIS and go off on his own. But of course there is more to it as the show goes on. But all of a sudden, the war chief gets killed. Some of the renegades tried to escape, but they got captured by the Time Lords. But all of a sudden, this is when they changed this time. You see, the Time Lords, they captured Jamie and Zoe and made them forget everything about the Doctor and put them in their usual time period before they met the Doctor. So now Jamie's back to his Highlander world, and Zoe went back to her future without a single memory about the Doctor. And the Time Lords, I gotta say, those Time Lords people, they all have bug up their asses. That's my opinion there. Now, bear in mind, there were some lost episodes I didn't watch because it wasn't available for me to see, but at least I watched most of it to get the gist of it throughout the Patrick Troughton era. But of course, there were some that were pretty scary, like on the Fear of the Deep, there was like some sort of seaweed that pricks you, and then you become like some sort of a seaweed zombie, which I gotta say, that was scary. And the only way to stop them is that Victoria has to scream. Her screams weakens those seaweed creatures. But anyway, when the Time Lords, they have decided, since they know that the Doctor have a soft spot for Earth, and they do believe that the Earth needs the Doctor. So therefore, they have him exiled. So he cannot go to Gallifrey or any other planets. He's stuck on Earth. And of course, after that, they decided to have him regenerated. And of course, they kept showing him faces of which one he could show. He was like, oh, that's too young. Oh, that's too old. That's too fat. No, they will not do. But the Doctor gave him no choice but choose one at random. And that's when the regeneration started, and that's when Patrick Troughton regenerated into Jon Pertwee. And that's when the series starts becoming in color. And this is what I have today on Patrick Troughton. Sorry for this one being short, is because I'm trying to get the gist of the whole story and everything. But you know, it's kind of interesting that one thing that Patrick Troughton's doctor have in common is that he loves playing with his accordion. But of course, there was another character I know who plays accordion. Captain Jean-Luc Picard on Star Trek Next Generation. Except he doesn't play a plastic one. He plays a metal one. Still play that tune. Yeah, I have a thing for accordions. I love playing them. Heck, I even have a wooden one. But that's pretty much it for today on my Patrick Troughton review. For those of you who like my Patrick Troughton talk on the series, please leave a comment down below, hit like and subscribe. And if you want, you can go ahead and check out my my own fan-made Doctor Who series, even some of them that are crossover, and others that are written by friends of mine, and even edited by friends of mine. So I'm sure you can enjoy my series of Doctor Who, as I always still continue on watching the series. And for those of you who are wondering which Doctor Who series I'm watching right now, let's just say it's got something to do with jelly babies. That's right, Tom Baker. Would you like a jelly baby? They're very good. But that's about it for Patrick Troughton. And next, it will be John Pertwee. So I'm going to be reversing the polarity of the neutron flow. So this is Michael A. Graham, aka the Multi-Voice, or the Multi-Voice Doctor, however you want to call me. Please leave a comment down below, hit like and subscribe, and as for me, I'm going to finish off my tea and pick up where I left off on Doctor Who, so see ya.